You are now tuning into the SL Experience. When you come for your weekly dose of moving the black culture forward with your girls, Chanel and Lisa.
Hey, this is Lisa.
And this is Chanel.
And you have come to the SL Experience. All right, guys, today we're doing marriage. We have two married couples with us. We'd like for them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Jana Johnson.
And I am her husband, Donis Johnson.
Hello, my name is Kiana Evans. My other half is not here because he's working, but I'm here. I can answer his question.
Represent for both of y'all. You represent for both of y'all. Y'all
Period.
won.
Right.
Y'all
I
won.
can answer for him because I know the answers. I mean,
Yeah, the wife's always right. So I mean, hey, whatever she say goes. All right, y'all. This is our fourth episode we did, which is the marriage. We did the single dating, and now we're doing marriage. We just want to get y'all perspective on marriage because everybody is young, the young generation. So let's get into it, y'all. So what's something that you know now that you wish you knew back then? So basically kind of like when you first got married to now, like what would you change or what would you wish you would have did, before argument's sake and things like that. That's what I did. I was like, let me switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, baby.
No, because we kind of, with getting the questions earlier, we kind of, wrote down what we wanted to do. So what number was it?
Oh, God.
Because I don't want to mix it up.
It's okay. So one of the
It was number 9. It was number 9.
Yeah, so one of the things that I personally wish I would have known then that I know now is to not take everything so serious. In the beginning, oh my God, like that first year, I always say, if you can make it through that first year, like you can make it through whatever. Because that first year, like I took everything serious. I was like, you ain't about to listen, just because we married now, don't switch up. So so to not take everything serious, and now we're just at a place where we practically don't argue, and if we do get in something, it's like it's gonna last a little couple seconds and then it's over with. Whereas before, I could go a while.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, not to take everything so serious. I think knowing the intention of your spouse's or your significant other's heart is what matters, because a lot of times in our conversation with one another, we would say, I would have to ask the question like, do you think it was my intent to make you feel the way that you are feeling right now? And then, just having a heart to heart so that we can exchange. That way our hearts are open to hear one another. And because all the time she comes back and says, no, I know you don't mean to hurt my feelings like how it come off. I said, well, then I just ask that you give me the benefit of the doubt to explain that so that we don't have to take everything so serious. So we're not in a space where we're at each other's heads all the time.
Oh.
And that's the first year was all the time, all the time. But, just not to take everything so serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what I learned, I would say, once you say things, you can't take them back.
Yeah.
Like you can't you can't take them back. You can apologize. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big person. Like what you put out in the atmosphere means everything. And like I said, once you said it, those thoughts are going to always be on the back of your mind. Like, well, did you really mean it? Because I know we were mad, and you know what I mean. And we're more emotional as women, of course. So a lot of stuff sticks with us. So don't always react off your emotions. If you get that heated, walk out. Take a little woosah and come back and let's talk about it when we, we're more level headed. So that's me. Cause I'm hot headed and I'm hot headed and I try to hit below the belt and but I've grown. So, but like I said, you can't take those words back once they're said.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, well, I'm going to take it back to the beginning of the question line.
All right. See, I'll be prepared for that.
All right. And what is the most important thing you guys think marriage has taught you?
Was that number one?
Yeah, see?
The most important thing, and if she has something different, she'd come out and say it. But the most important thing for me is that marriage is not about, our union is not about me, or it's not about her individually. It's about knowing, the purpose of that God has allowed us to come together. I think a lot of times we can get selfish in our, in our unions. So knowing that, our union is much more than ourselves, like what we can get from each other, but actually much more of what we can give to one another. So I think that's one of the most important things to me. What about you? Yeah, that's why.
One of the most important things, along the same lines, is along the same lines that the marriage isn't about you. I think that would have helped in the beginning if I would have known how to handle certain situations. I know in the beginning, I was a runner, so I know Kiana said, take a breather and take a woosah. I would take a whole woosah, get in the car and drive, and say I'm not coming back today. And so so that was fun. So I think the most important thing was, knowing that it's not about you, and more importantly, it's about God. That's what this whole thing is in the grand scheme of things. He created it. It's His marriage, it's His union, and so if we, focus on that, we won't so much focus on the fact that I'm married right now. Right. So
I think too, another thing to Kiana's point is, when you early on you start to say stuff out the way that you really don't mean, but then you can't take it back. But if you realize, that I'm here as a husband to cover her, and she's here as a wife to cover me, then we're both covered. If we're not protecting each other's hearts, then at least if I'm looking out for me and not her, then it leaves a party unattended to, and so learning that it's not about me, like I said in the beginning, it's about her, and it's not about her, but it's about me. And if we're covering each other, then we're covered.
What's the question again, Chanel?
What is one thing that marriage has? Well, what is one thing you think marriage has taught you?
I would say patience.
Most important
thing. Okay. Patience and understanding. Yeah, definitely. Because if I feel a certain way, I mean, I can't expect for Chris to feel a certain way, but you have to understand that just because it may not be so big to you or it's small, it doesn't make my feelings a void. You know what I mean? So definitely patience and understanding.
Go ahead and preach, Kiana.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I think because women are more emotional and guys are more logical, that guys we don't tend to see, what you tripping for. All we go is, something wrong with you, because I didn't say that, or I didn't do that, or and so we kind of tend to kind of look over the emotions instead of kind of saying, if it didn't make sense to me, then it used to be stupid, and that's not the case,
What would Chris say, Kiana? What you think he learned? What's the most important thing you think he learned?
The same thing I said. The same thing. Look, and I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna tag him in this, and I'm gonna ask him, write your answers. The same thing. I swear, because it's like we're one and the same. Like, it's just our approaches are different, but it's like we're the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the goal
really
is the same. One common goal, just two ways to get there. Okay.
Yeah. Two different ways. That's good. Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna mix it up again.
Oh Lord.
Make sure I don't push.
Okay, so what boundaries do you guys put in place to protect your marriage? Because you know how some people be outsiders, be like, you tell your friend, you be like this, and then they still be mad. But like, what boundaries do you do to protect like you guys' union?
You want to go on me?
Privacy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's it, right?
Privacy. Privacy, because when you first of all, I'm gonna say, just because people are, oh, I love y'all together and y'all a cute couple, that don't mean that they're always rooting for you.
Yeah.
That don't mean that they always want y'all together and want y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you start putting that different stuff out and, having different conversations about your union, especially people that aren't married, getting advice from people that aren't married.
Exactly. Yeah.
It starts to take effect in your marriage, and you're like, well, what's going on with you? You acting completely different because they done got and picked up vibes from somebody else in a different energy, and that's not you. So I would definitely say privacy, because people know who my husband is, but they don't know nothing about what we got going on unless we tell them.
Okay.
So that's definitely the most boundary is privacy.
I along the same lines. I would say keeping issues within the marriage.
That's right.
Except for in cases of godly counseling. Like there's spaces where there's safe spaces that you can share with your marriage. Like, but you have to know, you and your spouse have to first agree to that safe space, and then you guys go in there knowing that they're going to actually direct you godly, or they're going to direct you positive. They're not going to try to sabotage you guys, or try to get in or any kind of thing. So just protecting the space like making sure that you are, and unless you are going to counseling or unless someone is counseling you, not sharing any of those issues. Like, and I'm not, because what we tend to do as married couples is, if I go to a space that's not safe, right? Mm-hmm. And I share that information, now I have given someone the opportunity to have a view of my wife, and then when we have reconciled, then they still have that view of my wife, and then then it's always sitting there, and then it's not safe anymore, or they change the way that they treat her, and vice versa. That's the same one. Yep, you told me. Oh yeah, y'all smiling, but he just told me what you did last week, and we all right, but it's not safe anymore. And then
I mean, I won't say to not talk to anybody, because sometimes, I mean, the issue that you're having is with your spouse. So sometimes you don't want to talk to them. Sometimes you want to say some things that you don't necessarily want to say. It's just who you confide in is the important thing, because you have to vent. You have to let stuff out. Writing it and stuff like that. You want that human interaction. So and I feel like, your discernment should be on point, and you should know who you can go to and who you can confide in, and just take it from there.
All right, what you think, baby?
The only thing I would add to that is, because I agree with both of those. The only thing I would add to that is boundaries in a different aspect, as far as, like, for me, for example, when we first got married, before we got married, I was hanging with a different group of people, not different friendships. And it's not that anything was wrong with those friendships, but due to being married, it's just certain stuff that because of where I'm protecting.
You can't take everybody with you, girl. You
right,
can't take everybody.
Right. So
that's right.
It's like, it's peace in our home. And so I have to consider, if I were to invite them back in my life, even though, nothing's wrong, even though I love them, how would that change the atmosphere in our home? Would it mesh well? Right. And so that's the only thing I would say as far as boundaries in that scope. Protect your peace, protect what you guys have in your home.
You better say that.
And be okay.
You better
with
say
it.
that.
Like, let the the spouses be okay with that. That way, because sometimes that comes with problems. Sometimes it comes with people thinking you're being bougie, or thinking you're better than them, or thinking, when it's not, none of that. It's just that you guys are protecting you guys' space. And some people are toxic to your space. You don't want them to, come in and mess that up. So, yeah.
I have a different question too with that. So, say for instance, one of you was like, "Hey, I like this person, like they're cool," but your spouse is like, I'm getting a different vibe from them. Like, I don't see them like being a good match for you. Like, I'm in the terms of that, I mean, like, babe, like you might be like, "Hey, babe, I feel like she be, side dissing you. You don't see it. You think everything good. So how do you come to your spouse like, hey, you may like somebody, but I ain't feeling her. So how would y'all deal with that, girl?
There has been.
I'm still wow.
There has been so many instances in our relationship, as far as so many instances. Not like. To answer your question, as far as like when there's somebody that the spouse can't even like Kiana used the word discernment, when the spouse can't see what you see. And so we've had different instances. Like we are believers, we are Christians, so we go to church a lot. There's been instances where I'm just like, listen, the way she hugging you, that ain't a church hug.
Period.
So I know that's right. Baby,
I know that's right.
Yeah, so they don't see it, but the spouse sees it like,
right. And so
a little too much, but she need to back up.
That was not no church hug.
Yep. It's where like I've had to say, okay, God, help him to see that, because and he'll later see it before it turns into something else. Or there's been instances where like friendships just y'all two know him from high school, I'm sure, but like he has a female best friend. In the beginning, I was just like, I ain't used to female best friends, because in my mind that means something else. Right. So, but he knows her, and he never got, he never had any issues where it was something that I needed to feel concerned about, and so I had to discern whether he was like he's right. There's nothing there, and so it made it easier. So to your question,
but even to add to that though, but and that didn't happen like a quick. It didn't happen quick. But knowing because I do have a best friend of the opposite sex, and there was nothing ever there. I think we're best friends, turned brother and sister, God kids, all that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, she wasn't with it. And so I had to create a space where now I had to, and when you have real friends real friends, they'll understand. And sometimes, I had to go to my best friend and say, hey, my wife's not comfortable, until I can get her comfortable with our relationship, until she can see that there's nothing going on. We're going to have to, cut it off for a minute, and then let you come back with when we are established. Because in the beginning, there was some insecurities. There's some, how do I know that this didn't happen? All that kind of stuff. So there was just there was space there for the enemy to come in and kind of make it toxic. But if you have friends, if you love your wife, and if it's a relationship that you just know that you can't let go of, you don't want to let go of, then you invite your spouse in there if they're willing to go. And she just needed time. And I gave her that time, space from the friend, space from everything. There was just that time needed. So,
I asked it because that happened to me. So, I was the other woman, but not like we didn't do anything, but she was married and she didn't feel comfortable. But I was that good friend. Like he came to me like on a respectful level, like, hey, my wife, she thinks you're pretty and she doesn't really agree that I should be hanging out with you. And I'm like, you know what, man, I ain't trying to cause no problems in your household. I don't know what y'all got going on. So like, hey man, you need peace in your house. I ain't coming home with you. So you need to leave me alone. That's what we did. And I stopped talking to him. Like he would even still, just try to wave. That was cool. So I'm like, hey man, your wife said this. You gotta go home with her every night. You better listen to your wife.
I think that's so mature. Yeah. I think that's so mature because at the end of the day, my wife has to be comfortable. And if she's comfortable, then and if she sees that everything is cool, then you give space to let her trust you. Like that's a space that she can trust. And now we're all friends. My God kids, my God kids became our God kids. They're over here now. It's just, but it took a while to get here, but you don't allow pride to come in. You don't allow anything else to come in. And I know we're coming in on Kiana's space. So Kiana, let us know what you think.
So in all honesty, I'm still learning that. Because there's a couple. I haven't experienced the female friend, but I have experienced like even family members. Just because they family don't mean nothing. I'll put that out there too. But family and some of his friends, I don't know. It's like a gift and a curse. Because like I said, I have really good discernment and I can just be around and just feel like certain stuff. And like my husband will tell me stuff about people. And I'm like, well, you can't tell me stuff about people and expect for me to still see them this way, just like what you said. So now I'm looking at them like, why would I want you to be around? You know what I mean? I don't want you around that. And my approach to him, I think is because it was kind of aggressive and kind of like, well, I'm just not going to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't understand where I'm coming from. So forget it. I'll just take, you know what I'm saying? I'll take myself out. But now I come to him different with a different approach. And now he's starting to see stuff for what it is. And they kind of disappeared. You know, I mean, every once in a while they'll pop back up to see how he's doing and stuff like that. And that's fine. But like I said, he's starting to see like even family sometimes is not good company. So
exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that was some good answers because I'm the friend. I tell you quick. I said I'm the friend. You don't have no relationship listening to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a good listener. I give you both sides of the equation. But at the end of the day, like I'm not married, or dating. So
right.
If you ain't doing what I want you to do, you know what I'm saying? You could go.
Right.
So I be like, listen, if you want advice from me, you ain't gonna have no marriage, you ain't gonna have no no nothing.
You just out here giving all kinds of bad advice, huh?
No, like I give good advice. Like I sit there, like I give you both. I be like, bro, you wrong, bro.
Right.
I can see it from their side, but then I can see it from your side. But then at the end of the day, sis, do you?
Yeah.
And if do you mean leave, don't listen to me, cause you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I ain't got no husband, so that's how I go. But I'm that friend. But I give some good advice though.
Middle of telling us how they keep it spicy in a relationship.
So I was just saying, just being open. Being open.
Yeah.
What is that?
No, I know you know. Now you already know.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just like spicy and open. Like I'm a little lost.
Keep it spicy, like. What y'all mean? Like
how do you keep it spicy? Like you have to be with one person for the rest of your life.
Are you
how you keep
about
it interesting?
No, like romantic.
No, I'm not talking about
period. I mean, like period. Like how do you keep?
Yeah, I'm not talking about being
boring?
open. Yeah, being open is not just sex. That's all around the rim. Like just be open and be understanding because you're with another individual. So. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying before we got cut off, me and my husband, like at least maybe once or twice a month, I'll ask him. Sometimes he'll ask me, what can I do different? Like, what did I do that you don't like? Like, I feel like just having that open, that keeps it spicy because I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me what I need to improve so that you don't, you know what I'm saying, have that, I don't know, that desire to look elsewhere or to look for something to fill a void. No, let me know what I'm doing, what I can do better, what you want to try, quote unquote. And I don't mean just sex terms, anything. You want to go a new place, you want to try a new food. Just be open. That keeps us fight, at least my marriage.
Right.
I'm glad you did a little bit more detail because I was
because no ma'am.
I knew that. I knew it wasn't that route.
I know when it had cut you off in the beginning, you was like in the middle of a good speed. I was like, I know you probably was like, I ain't gonna do that again. I done forgot where I was, so But no, I appreciate it.
Oh man. Well, we basically agreed the same thing. We were talking about this earlier. Keeping it spicy is about being intimate. It's not so much about sex because I mean, if you don't have everything that happens before sex, then sex ain't even gonna happen. So,
that's right.
I mean, so for us, it's about that conversation throughout the day. It's about touches. It's about words of affirmation. It's about respect. It's about like Kiana was saying, temperature check. Where are you at right now? Where am I at right now? And I do that a lot. I like to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes he could just be washing dishes and I just walk up. So, baby, I just had something I wanted to talk to you about. You know,
and I'm like, oh,
okay, well, what's you know? So, like you were saying, being open. You know, we literally have no boundaries to what we talk about. He probably know my whole life better than my mama know my whole life. Yeah. So it's like being open, like you said, that builds intimacy, that builds trust, where you can, you know, every day you just like falling in love with this person all over again because you're learning more and more about them.
Like, and to add to that, engaging each other's minds, like it's much more than just like you guys were saying earlier, sex. And now I had to learn that. I had to learn that because but engaging each other's mind, and she actually had to teach me that. She had to teach me, my body is connected to my brain, and if I'm not there, then I'm going to need you to help me get there, Right. And so she was, had to tell me, and that was one of the major talks in our in the beginning of our marriage. It was because she would tell me that you just want to jump right into something. Like, it's different for guys. She would say, you guys can just get in the mood like that, but for me, you have to throughout the day. I have to know you love me throughout the day, even though I love you. I have to. She used to say, I have to know you love me throughout the day. And so I had to put that in. I'm sorry, somebody just pulled in our yard. I'm like, who the heck is that?
Oh my God! Oh God!
So engaging each other.
It's like a husband activating.
Yeah, engaging each other's minds, and just knowing that just knowing that it's much more than body. I've gotta engage her mind. She has to know that that I love her. Like, I think, what is the big word you used to always use?
I don't know. You think about it. Real quick.
Okay, I think it was it's not intimacy.
Stimulation.
No, you girls use it a lot.
Wait a minute.
It was
What did you just say?
No, it was stimulate more than the body, like the mind.
Stimulating the mind. But I think it was. She said I can't think about the word, but she used to say I don't show her affection. That's what it was. It was affection. She was just like, affection is different from me. You have to talk to me. You have to, I have to know that it's much more than that for you. So, it's much more than that. So engaging her mind, letting her know, she likes to be touched. She likes to be this. She likes to be that. For me, it was a learning area for her. Like, I like a clean house, and so I can't do nothing dirty in a dirty house. No, you clean, baby. You clean. But
clean it up.
But if certain things are a turn off for me. I'm just like, we gotta clean the house. We gotta do this. We gotta do that, and vice versa. There are certain things that are a turn off for her. So engaging each other's mind, learning from each other, knowing what we should do, how we should do it, so that we can, keep the spice there all the time. I know I went long, but yeah.
You're good.
I went long, but yeah.
So, what are some of the changes that you are not ready for? How you cope with them? So basically, y'all said once you get through that first year of marriage, like, you should be good. So, what weren't you ready for that first year that you had to cope with? Different people, you know what I'm saying? Like, people live different, things like that.
You said what? You said what weren't you ready for before marriage?
Yeah. Like, what are some of the changes you are not ready for and how you cope with them? So basically, like, you moving in together, like, you learning each other, like, so what?
Nah.
Like people
Did
have
you-
personalities, you know what I'm saying? They're different. So
You want to go first, Kiana?
No, you can go.
Did you hear the question?
I broke it up. I kind of know what she's talking about.
She
Right,
asked,
I'll do mine. I know Jenna did her separate from mine, so I'll let her answer when she comes. But I wasn't prepared for her mouth.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, like before
Before marriage, like
it was different.
you get what people present to you, and not to say that she didn't, not to say that she didn't. I didn't know. I knew she got, she could get with me if she had to, but I didn't know it was as consistent as it is now, and so I wasn't prepared for her mouth, and I still deal with her. If she is not submitted to Christ, working on the inside of her, at that moment, you're gonna get all of her thoughts, no matter where you're at, no matter. It's the truth. You gonna get all of her. She's gonna let me know what I am, where I am, how I, all that kind of stuff. Anywhere you're at, if she's not submitted to Christ. Now, I'm grateful that Christ God has become a bridle for her tongue, but I wasn't prepared for her mouth. And it still sometimes catches me off guard because it makes me feel like a chump when I, get, because God deals with me in the same way. He tells me, shut up. Even if she go crazy, God will be like, no, now you stay humble. You be the humble one, and you bring her back, by your kind words, by your, words that, like literally, it'll take him because I'll be like, it takes God. So I wasn't prepared for her mouth.
She doesn't even look like she has a mouth. Damn.
Yeah.
Right? Them be the ones, though. Them be the ones.
He
Listen,
said I'm
She
emotional,
was
so that might be what he's
so
talking
quiet.
no. She will let you. I mean, have you ever experienced somebody who make you feel dumb without cursing you out, or make you feel
Oh, me?
Oh yeah,
you
know how she know how to curse without cursing. Because
Nice,
we don't
nasty.
curse. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nasty.
She just make you feel like this big.
Me?
Baby, stop it. You need to stop. But if and so then that like just something jump in like, hold on, you're not gonna talk to me like I'm your child, like I'm your peon, like I'm your but her mouth was something that I wasn't expecting. What about you, baby? What?
One of the things I was not expecting. Is that how the question is? One of the things we weren't expecting?
Yeah, what are some changes you were not ready for and how did you cope with them? Like being
well, I kind of knew this when we were dating, but I kind of thought, I don't know if I thought it would change or something, but he like he was saying, he's a very logical person, so he thinks, he thinks one way. So basically, like if he doesn't agree with something I've done, like he was saying, it's automatically stupid. He would say something along those lines, or like, I don't get it. Why would you think that that's dumb? And I'm like, so you calling me dumb because I'm the person that thought it. So
okay, wait, hold on.
No, I'll come in there.
So yes, that was just one of the things. I wasn't ready for that. I mean, I knew it was it was something, because in high school he acted like that, and I ain't like him in high school.
What do you mean? I didn't act like that. I was nice in high school.
The boy,
I'm still nice.
And so now it's just like
I think I think having to understand each other is a big thing, but that's an argument. That's why I wanted to jump in where she was, because that's an argument that we have had constantly, where just because something an action that you did was dumb or wasn't smart doesn't mean the whole person is dumb. That I need to throw the whole person away. You know, I don't understand that logic. So even if I use the word stupid, then I'm stupid now, and I'm like, no, you're not stupid. What you did was stupid.
Decision.
So understand. I still don't understand that sometimes. I mean, all the time. I don't ever understand it. But we go there a couple of times a year.
I'm on Dana's side. I'm on Dana's side.
Huh?
I'm on. Thank you.
I mean,
period. Because your decision was stupid.
But the thing is, on the other stick of that, she can tell me all day long, Donis, that wasn't smart. And I can say, you know what, baby? Yeah, that wasn't, but it's just not reciprocated. It's like, I don't go, oh, so I'm dumb? I didn't graduate high school? That's the logical part of me.
It's okay.
So I'm just, go ahead, Kiana, I'm sorry.
I really don't have an answer to that question. I really don't. I really don't have an answer to that question.
You and Chris talk about it and come back. Come back, us.
I really don't. So what? Say it again.
We gonna ask you offline.
No, say it now.
You want the question again?
Yeah, say the question again. Because I heard what Jaleesa said, but I didn't hear.
What are some changes you were not ready for, and how did you cope with them? Like, what were some things you didn't know marriage was about, and then when you got married, you probably figured like, whoa.
Okay. So I would say, I mean, of course, when we were married, we didn't just come into with kids, but I would say that what comes with having kids, because prioritizing, like I said, he works so dang on much. So it's like, when do I get my alone time? And then when do I get time with you? And that's still something that we're still trying to figure out. Cause like I said, he's an entrepreneur and he has a full-time job. So I would say with the kids.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's a good one.
Kids are a game changer.
They are a game changer.
They're such a blessing.
And then when you don't have a lot of help, because my family is not here. My husband's, most of his family is here. I have my dad. Everybody knows I lost my mother. And my mom was like my kid's second mom. So we could move around a little bit more. But now we don't really have that many people. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you see us, you see all four of us. Like, that's the game. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're still married. And we're still individuals. I want to go get my nails done. I want to go out to eat. I want to do that. You know what I mean? I know he wants to go play basketball. Or he wants to do that. But then we have to have family time. And then you got to work. So that's definitely something that I wasn't prepared for, and still learning how to cope with it and what to do. So
right. Definitely. Kids, they bring a different feeling. If you're not careful, it can make or break a marriage.
That's right.
You want to make sure they're being loved, but a lot of times the spouses become neglected in the name of the kids.
Right.
And so that's something that you have to keep intentionalizing, like making sure that we have our moments where we can actually date each other. Because there was a moment where we finally got a break and we didn't know what to do because our life was surrounded by the kids.
I be telling these people, I be like, bro, me, you know what I'm saying? I know you.
Yeah.
You're the designated babysitter.
I am the designated Lisa love the kids. You know what I'm saying? But don't call me every 5 minutes asking me how these kids doing.
Well, on that note,
I'm gonna get unanswered. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're in my daddy and my kid, like after that.
My mom had to tell us that we went out of town. She took me out for my birthday, and my mom was like, I'm turning off the phone, so don't. We call every hour, like, hey, what are they doing? How they doing? And she's like, if you don't get off my phone, don't reach out, don't call. I'm turning off my phone, and I'm not answering you guys until you guys get back in town.
But it really be like that because you're always with them, and it's not no offense to the person that has your child. Like, of course, I'm pretty sure you won't let your kid go with somebody that you don't trust. But it's just the fact that we're always together. Like, and that's definitely what me and my husband will not have the kids. I was like, well, babe, what are we gonna do? We ride around Jacksonville, just where you wanna go eat? What you wanna do? Like, we don't have nothing to do.
It's a
Okay, well, let's go
want
back
the
and pick up the
kids,
kids.
but y'all don't want the kids.
Right.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Riding around Jacksonville not knowing what to eat. Listen, it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yep.
So how did you guys know you was ready to settle down and get married? Like what point in your life would you like, hey, we need to stop playing. I'm ready. You were ready. How did you know you was ready?
So for me, I came to the relationship ready. I let my I let my intentions be known on the first date.
The first date.
Because at the time, I'm not at the place where I want to play right now. So if I'm not gonna be wasting money. First of all, on going out to eat because I pay for everything. I'm that type of. I make sure they right. But I wanted to let her know that this is not a game for me. I want to be married, and I didn't say you gonna be my wife if we together.
He said I'm looking for a wife. I was like,
all right, yeah.
I'm like, I just turned 21. Boy, what you talking
When you was
about?
eating the food, like I'm ready for a life, and you like, huh?
But we actually got into the conversation, like, it's like, what are you looking to get? I said, well, I'm looking for a wife. I'm not looking for a play relationship where we're going on and on for 3 to 5 years and we don't know what we want. We're talking to each other one minute, we're not talking to each other the next. Yeah, I didn't want any games. I had just got out of a relationship that not too long before that there were games being played. You know what I mean? And I was to the point where I think everybody called me an old soul. Like I just wanted what I wanted, and so I just I was still a virgin when we met. I wasn't into getting asleep, sleep, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. Yeah, it wasn't a thing for me. What about you? How'd you know? Oh, I know how she knows. Listen, she got to tell you. She got to tell you because she broke up with me. She initiated the breakup, and then
like the way you portraying my friend here.
Yeah, right. She broke up with me, initiated a mutual breakup, which it really wasn't. It was her decision. I just kind of had to agree with it because I'm gonna say no, you're gonna stay. She broke up with me, and so my heart was broke. My heart was broke. I was like, you know what, forget it. And she was like, the way she broke up with me was like, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to do what you want. As far as I have a lot of people.
Being honest.
Yeah, it was honest, but it was heartbreaking because I done spent my money on these days.
Oh my!
But one thing about me is I am very outspoken. In the get jump, I said when he said he looked for a wife, I said I have about this many friends. And I'm just letting you know, I'm not, this what you want to do. We can go on these dates or whatever, but I'm just telling you, I'm not ready for a relationship. And he was like, okay.
Yes,
so you knew, and you still spent your money.
That is not how that was. She would end up saying like, okay, well, all right, you're going to have to show me, or you're going to have to, and I'll be like, that you're serious. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then when she broke up with me, she introduced, well, I have this many friends. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
What it was?
That's your side, Jana. We here.
We got your back.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, no, I believe, if I remember correctly, I was.
You know how your memory set up.
I was straightforward in the beginning.
You did.
Because
You did say you weren't ready to be married, but you were ready to be in a real relationship.
Okay, well, I did say I would try the relationship thing out because I had never been in a serious relationship. It was my first serious relationship, so I was more so scared than anything. And so, to your question, what let you know it was time to settle down?
You gotta tell the story about the date, though.
Okay. So your question, my mom advised me if you're not serious with him, he's a good guy. He was, at the time he was living safe and right, and I was holy. And so she advised me, if you're not serious, go ahead and let him go. And I was like, okay, so that's where that mutual thing happened. And so, right.
She let me go, and my heart went with it.
So during that time, I did go on 3 dates. The last date was not the best day. I ain't going.
None of the dates were good, but
the last date was probably the worst day.
They didn't pay for her food. That's in history.
It was just the worst day.
You gotta you gotta get the details.
No, I don't.
I give the details. Okay, she went on the date, right?
Yeah,
because I thought it was so hilarious. I think God is amazing, but he uses the smallest things to kind of realign perspective. And so she went on this date with this guy, and he took her, to his house, back to his house for a movie night. And so you got to tell it.
And we went to his house to watch a movie, and of course, you know what he wanted. I was not doing that at the time.
Because she was a virgin.
I wasn't doing that. But, I went on dates because that's,
Yeah, you didn't know people. You just
right, getting out and stuff, And so I said, I'm hungry. Can you take me to go get something to eat or whatever? I said, I got my own money, blah, blah, blah. And so he was like, yeah, cool. So we get in the car and we're driving.
He gave you crackers. You forgot the crackers.
Oh, he gave me crackers first. And then I was like, okay, do you not have anything else? You could just take me somewhere. And he did. And so we got in the car and we're just driving. And next thing I know is, I'm back at my house. And so I'm just like, okay.
Oh, that's so hilarious to me.
And then I'm like, so this dude just took me all the way home because I said I was hungry. So then we get to the house and he's just like, I wonder if they're going to make a part 2 of that movie. And I'm like, are you serious? And so I just got out of the car and that was it. But to the question, what let me know I was ready to settle down. For me, it was honestly, although I went through those dates in that stage, it was really just a heart posture. My heart was not in a place where God needed it to be. I was saved, and like I said, I was not living saved. But for somebody who's saved, you should want what God wants. You should want a husband. You should want to be to one man. And so I had to go on a fast during that time we was not together. For God to, in prayer, for God to align my heart and I was like, God, I'm not attracted to him. He's not the person.
I don't know how.
I'm like, he's not the person that I imagined. Can you change my, it was more of a lust thing. I was thinking of, he was supposed to be some different kind of guy. But he was everything that I desired in a man and that I prayed for in prior times. And so God literally realigned my heart. And just like, when we got back together, it was like, I knew I was in love with him. I could look at him and I was immediately attracted to him. It's like God just did that. I give all of the credit to God because he completely changed everything. The desire to have multiple men was just gone. That's all I can say. For me, it was just God prepared me to be a wife. He changed my heart.
But then I didn't want it anymore.
Oh boy, please.
Boy, man.
I made her work for it.
You did.
I did. I didn't talk to her. And every time she would text, I would ignore her. But I'm glad she got me because her grandma died. And so I couldn't ignore that text. And then from then on, I kind of encouraged her, and then we went on from there. Sorry, Kiana, your turn.
I don't really know exactly when. And it might sound cliche, but you just know. Like you just know that's the person for you. So I don't really know when because I mean I didn't propose, and I never like. Of course, we talked about marriage, but I wasn't we need to get married, we need to do this because I want you to want to marry me. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to force you or make you do nothing at the same time. I mean, because I love him, and I'm like, I'm older. What am I missing out on? Like, why not get married? And not why I can see myself with him. I can see myself building with him. I can see myself having a family with him. So that will probably be maybe a year in. We've been together for 11 years. Yeah, maybe a year in.
Awesome.
Okay. I asked that though because you were saying like, I ain't proposed, and I know that, but you was like,
yeah,
and like, I wasn't. We talked about it, but it's like
because I can't really put a time on it. Like, because like I said, we talked about marriage, so I didn't say, oh well, yeah, now I'm ready to be a wife. You know what I mean? Like those thoughts don't really cross your mind. They don't really cross your mind. So what happened is my first pregnancy, we had a miscarriage.
Oh, sorry.
And it was like, it was bad, but I'm going to tell y'all how God worked. The doctor, huh?
Tell us, girl.
Oh, so my oldest is 7. He'll be 7 on Monday. So I supposedly had a miscarriage. So this is the first time that actually like a serious talk about marriage came up, because we weren't married when I was pregnant the first time. And I'm like, okay, so we're pretty much having kids out of wedlock. We've been living with each other for a long time. We know, and we both go to church and was raised in the church, and we know that you're supposed to get married. You're supposed to do things the right way. And I was like, so what do you feel about that? And he was like, I mean, I agree with you. So I'm not going to say that's why we got married. But that really brought us a lot closer, like that miscarriage. And I kid you not, when we got married, I was pregnant on my wedding. Nobody knew except Delisa and my mom and him. But they said that he was a twin.
Wow.
So I never really had I mean, I lost a baby, but I still had a baby. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's beautiful. Girl, go ahead and test it. Yes. That's beautiful.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
though.
Oh
Yes,
my
ma'am.
God.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That is awesome. That's awesome. Listen, she done just.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, he living for both of them, I guess. He living on for his brother too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I be thinking about it. I'm like, dang, mate, was it a boy and a girl? But it's just crazy how stuff will align when you do stuff the right way.
Right.
Right. And it's just crazy how stuff works out. It's crazy how stuff works out.
Yeah. God, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Because you remember that, Delisa?
Yeah, because
can you see my
dog like that now. Don't act like you don't want to marry my dog now.
That's awesome.
It's my turn?
Yes.
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. So what are the 3 most important qualities you think that needs to make a marriage like work or last long?
I would say my 3 or our 3, you can add on it. I would say God. And I say God, I'm going to break it down here for a minute. I say God because both parties, especially if you're saved, you have to know how God instituted marriage in order for us to care for one another. God is the only one. His word says multiple times to love others, prefer others before you prefer yourself. And so that's something I had to learn in marriage, to actually prefer her well-being over mine, and for her to prefer mine over hers. And then, like I was saying before, we're both covered when we do that. And then God, it's important to have God, because I could be wrong all day. Like, say we're in a situation, I could be wrong and she could be right. And God, if I don't have God, then there's no other party to tell me, hey, what you just did was wrong, and you need to go back and apologize to her, and you need to go back and submit yourself to her and let her know that you love her and all that kind of stuff. With God being there, he leads us in everything. He wants to lead us anyway in everything that we do, everything that we say, how we treat each other. So God being the one leading the marriage and letting us know, because sometimes we stubborn. sometimes, we don't do what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it. And it takes God to say, hey, you need to go fix that. So God being number one. Two, being communication. Communication is key. I know you heard that. I know we've all heard that, but communication is definitely key. And then number three, not only communicating, but understanding and compromise. Because when we communicate, we need to communicate not to have a comeback, but we need to communicate to have a compromise with one another, knowing what hearing her to hear her heart and not to have something to say back, and her hearing me to hear my heart and not having something to say back. It makes a difference. And then compromising, understanding and compromising, so we can come together, find what best fits us, and then go in that together, moving that together. That would be my three.
My three would be trust, communication, trust, communication, and understanding.
Yeah.
That'll be my top three.
What about you?
That'd be my top three.
Top three qualities to make a marriage work.
Yeah. To make a marriage last.
To make a marriage last.
Yeah, work last. Yeah.
Yeah. To go along the lines of what everybody has said, is God, communication, and I would just add empathy. Being able to relate to your partner, even though, it like you were saying earlier, along the lines of bitter root judgments. There are things, because we're bringing two people together, there are things that this person has went through that has shaped their way of thinking, that has shaped the way they interact with you, all of that. So it's going to take you learn, it may be something that they do need to, heal from, or, grow from, but you first have to learn how to relate to them so that they can come out of that, so they can trust you with that part of them. And so, that would be my thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, we almost wrapping it up because we know y'all got lives, y'all married, y'all got kids. But what is something that now that you wish you knew back then? Well, what's something you know now that if you wish you knew back then, like it would have helped sooner in the relationship? Something now that you wish you knew back then.
I would say to communicate, and I always say communicate because I was the type that I hold stuff in, because I feel like I talk to people, they're not going to care, like that nothing's going to change. So I held a lot in, and then that just made me grow to resent my husband. But I can't resent him for something that he knows nothing about. I can't assume that he knows how I feel. I can't assume that he knows I'm exhausted. I can't, you know what I mean? Like I can't assume, and I can't get mad if he doesn't meet those needs when Kiana, you didn't tell him. You didn't tell him anything. You didn't tell him. So now I'm telling you everything. I don't care if you don't feel like hearing it. You know how I feel, and it's up to you to correct it. But I done told you, because you have to let that weight go. Yeah. You have to let that weight go. Let them know, and like I said, they can take it for what they see. You can correct it or whatever, but for yourself and your inner peace, tell it.
Yeah, I think that was a thing for me that she helped bring me through. God allowed her to help bring me through. Was actually to start talking. I was raised with a single mom for the most part up until high school, and it was just me, my brothers, and my mom. So there was a lot of things that were connected to how we were raised. Don't show any emotion. Don't be a man. Don't. Be a man, not don't be a man. Be a man. Don't let people see your weak side. All these kind of things. And so going in marriage where I'm shaped like, okay, I'm not going to, even though there's something that might bother me, I'm not going to let you see that, because I don't want you to think of me as less of a man or less of a person or a wimp or whatever. And so I didn't used to share things, and it put a strain. It put a strain on our marriage, and it wasn't until God allowed me to see that I could trust her, that she wasn't going to take um, my past and kind of shape me with it, you know. And that actually took a God, you know, that took God for both of us. But God allowed her to allow me to open up in that area, because there's some areas like you guys were saying that are that can be shut off if you're not careful, and then she don't know that what triggers you. You know, she would do certain things, and then it'll just trigger something. I'll be like, it triggers something from me not being raised without a father. You know what I mean? And so, and it wasn't fair to her, because she got the whiplash of it, you know, and then I'm coming back and trying to fix it. So wishing I would have let go of that, or knew that needed to be let go before actually getting in marriage, because that can shape the way you interact with your spouse or your loved one. So, what about you?
The only thing I think I would add is, in a different perspective, is that marriage is a beautiful thing. If I would have knew that then, I wouldn't have wasted so much time.
Yeah.
It took us 3 years.
Took her 3 years.
Well, it took 3 years before we actually, got married. And if I knew, along the lines of what he said, I grew up with a single mom until 14. So I didn't see a marriage. The only thing I had was my grandparents, and I didn't really see that. I just knew it lasted up until their 80s. So, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know that marriage could be a beautiful thing. The few marriages I saw were broken, or they were married but they were living separated. I don't know what that is, but I was just, like. But now that I know, I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, you have a life partner forever. I mean, right. I don't know how to explain it, because it's not like having a boyfriend. It's not like dating. It's just so many people think it's just a piece of paper, but it's just so different. It's like when you're dating, you don't come to an agreement where you are so in the same mind with the person that you're seeking to please them. Sometimes it's just you're just dating. You're just in a relationship. You're just used to each other, so you're just doing it. But in a marriage, it's so different, because it's like you're in this forever. It's like whatever the issue is, we're going to fix it, because this is our marriage. This is our covenant. So it's kind of like a different mindset, I would say. And so it's a beautiful thing. That's what I would say. That marriage is beautiful, and I didn't know that.
I'm so happy you said that, because marriage has a bad connotation, a stigma attached to it. It's like, why we need to get married? You just gonna take half of my money, or you don't need to get married because you don't need to get married because you out here cheating anyway. Like, what's the point of it? So I'm so happy to hear from y'all that it is a beautiful thing. Like, it's not everything that people in social media portray it to be. Like, it's so bad. Like, it's people
and it'd be so funny.
American people out here living that good married life. We out here, we doing this.
And it'd be so funny to hear people say stuff like that who ain't never been married. Like, you've never been married. You've never been married. So how you have so much opinion and backlash about it? You've never been married, and you can't go by. Like I said, you can't go by what you see the next person and the next person do. There's people that are faithful. There's people that are happy in their marriage. And that's just so crazy to me that people, like, you'll post something on social media and you're happy with your family, and it's literally just a family photo that you're proud of, and that's fake, and y'all do this and y'all do. No, there is people that's happy. Happiness is a thing. Like, it is a thing. And I'm not even gonna sit here and cap and lie. Sometimes, I want to fight my husband. Like, I wish I can turn you into a female so we can square up. That's life. But that's my husband, and I don't want it no other way. Like, I won't want to do this. I won't want to raise kids with nobody else. So, like I said, if the person that God tends for you, that places in your life, like I said, marriage is a beautiful thing. Don't try to force nothing, or try to get married because, she's pregnant, or I want to get married because my sister got married, or I want to get married because I'm pregnant and I want to keep him. No, you marry for love. You marry because you want to build with that person. You see yourself with that person. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you go in it with with pure intentions, you have no choice. Like you have to succeed. So marriage is a beautiful thing.
It is. I think that goes.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I think, like you guys were saying, there's a horrible connotation when it comes to marriage, where people, people just don't respect it anymore. I remember when there was a day where when I was growing up young, you would see people who would try to hit on women, or girls would try to hit on men, and all they would have to say is, "I'm married," and they would walk away. But the respect nowadays, people walk up and be like, "What that mean?"
Yeah, they like married people. Like, oh, that's a challenge. You married? I can be like you. I'll take you, girl. Don't play.
Right.
Don't play.
And so I think just over the dispensation of time, there has been a change over the view of marriage. The respect's not there, but I think there's hope when two married couples who really love each other just be love to one another. It gives hope to it gives hope to everybody who's looking on and saying, okay, I really want that. Okay, it really does exist. And it doesn't have to be a fake thing. It just has to be a God thing. It has to be something that God instituted. I think Keanu was saying that earlier. That's why it has to be God instituted, because what God put together, no man can tear it apart.
At
all. Say it again.
Yeah. But I'm serious. I'm serious. So I think the respect is just gone. But I think that leads into another question that you guys have on the thing. People don't take it serious anymore. But true people who want real love, who want to experience all that marriage has to offer, excuse me. No, thank you. But it what when they see it, they know it's real. Like, people can discern when it's real.
You can tell.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's just, I pray that the respect for marriage gets restored, but I mean, even to the point where pregnancy is not even respected. Like, my wife would walk married and pregnant and still get hit on. I'm like, that is nasty. I mean, come on, that's horrible. And they're like, okay, it's just so people have lost respect for what it means to be in covenant, and it's just that's messed up. But when God is exalted, it makes a whole difference. It makes a whole difference, because love then is exalted. My wife knows that I love her. I know that my wife loves me. And if we operate in love in one another, then it's good. And I just using this. I'm sorry. Just using this, this podcast as an example. Like, you guys, if you guys didn't think it was real, you wouldn't have asked Kiana or us to come on and be be spokespersons to marriage. So that just is like hope for other people, that it really does exist. It really does exist. I'm happy. I would never. One of the things and both of our insecurities with one another in the beginning was, she would ask me, would you ever cheat on me? And I would be like, no, baby. No, I wouldn't do that. And she was like, well, you can't say that. Or how can you say that? And I would say, because I love God. If I cheated on you, that means that I would have to disrespect my covenant with God first. And so I don't want to do that. So when God is exalted, I'm taking care of a God, and I'm taking care of my wife. Everything just aligns underneath that. So
Well, go on ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go on ahead.
She's telling me to shut up. But y'all can go. I'm done. I'm done.
That was good, baby.
Okay, whatever.
It was.
All right.
Okay, we know y'all got families and kids that y'all got to tend to, so we are going to end it. But we really, really, really want to thank y'all, because, like you said, we really did believe in. Well, we do believe in marriage also, and we thought you guys were two good examples. And we just wanted to hear from your perspective from the younger generation today, because I feel like a lot of us are lost. Again, like, people are really getting married for the wrong reasons, whatever those reasons may be. But yeah, so we really enjoyed y'all. This is one of the best episodes we had.
This was good. I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch it and run it back.
Yeah. Y'all gave a lot of good insight on what people can expect from a marriage a marriage where people actually do love each other and they really do pride themselves on making it work and putting God first. So again, we thank y'all.
I thank you guys
You're
for
welcome.
including us. Just counting out robbery to have us on y'all podcast. I think this is a good thing that you're doing because you guys are using a platform to show the world. Social media goes so far these days. And so when people can see it, I think I just pray that God blesses you guys to continue to do stuff like this because it really can heal marriages. It can bring marriages together. It can, it can be all encompassing,